Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Before I begin my ministerial statement, I wish to wish our Honourable Prime Minister a very happy birthday today. The Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Cabinet Ministers, Honourable Leader of Opposition, Honourable Members. I would like to start my ministerial statement with a verse from the Holy Bible. Psalms 127:3 says, "Children are a gift from the Lord, and they are a reward from Him." Honourable Speaker, I wish to make reference to the well-known quote, "Our children are the foundation and future leaders of our country." We must at all costs ensure that we as a nation strengthen our commitment to caring for and protecting our children. Each child in Fiji depends on us to make decisions that will guarantee they are safe and their rights are protected to ensure they have a bright future to fully reach their full potential. Honourable Speaker, there is a sad reality in our country. Children are still subject to physical abuse, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, and neglect. Honourable Speaker, we have been informed of the statistics of violence against women, which is 2 in every 3 women in this country, or 64% of women, face some form of violence in their lifetime. However, Honourable Speaker, the statistics for children is far worse. 4 out of 5 children, Honourable Speaker, that's 83% of our children, are facing some form of abuse or violence. Honourable Speaker, the Child Welfare Act database reported in 2022 a total of almost 2,000 cases. This was a 29% increase to 2021, which was 1,500 cases reported. Now, according to the statistics for 2022, 54% of child victims were girls, 68% were child neglect, physical abuse and sexual abuse, 58% of the child victims were below the age of 12, 3.7% of the child victims were below the age of 1, 79.7% of the perpetrators are known to the victim, 80%. And of that 80%, 60% are immediate family members. For this year alone, Honourable Speaker, a total of almost 1,000 cases have been reported between the months of January to July. In the same period last year was a total of 1,200 cases. This was a decrease compared to last year. However, cases are still being reported from these months and can increase. Of the 956 cases reported this year, 54% of the victims are girls, 75% of the cases are of neglect, physical abuse, behavioral and sexual abuse. 4% of the victims, so this has gone up, Honourable Speaker, 4% of the victims are below the age of 1, and 75% of the perpetrators are known to the victims. And of that 75%, 70% are immediate family members. So these numbers are on the rise. Honourable Speaker, the Government of the Day recognises the importance of establishing a dedicated department for children to effectively address the increasing incidence of social issues involving our children. As you all know, we have allocated a budget to the establishment of the Department for Children of $100,000 initially, which will see to having the Director for Children, a principal officer, and another officer, as I mentioned, to start it off. At this juncture, I wish to inform the House that the Ministry is in the process of recruiting the Director and other key positions. Of course, Government continues the funding of $200,000 for child protection, $200,000 for the Child Helpline, $10,000 for development of childcare policy and program, $230,000 for grants to voluntary organizations managing our children's homes and Empower Pacific, $100,000 for the State Home for Girls, and $692,000 or the Boys Center for juveniles. Honorable Speaker, at this time I'd like to explain a little bit about the frangipani lapel pins which were distributed earlier this week, which I thank all honorable members for wearing them today. Allow me to share the story of the frangipani with you, my colleagues, and of course to members of the public and those who are watching. A frangipani is a flower that grows from the Plumeria temple tree. For the tree to flower, it strongly depends on the environment in which it grows. In order for the frangipani to manifest its soft and enriching qualities, the roots of the tree must be strong. When a frangipani is fully developed, it consists of 5 petals. A frangipani can come in a diverse range of color combination and exudes a beautiful sweet fragrance. The petals of the flowers are delicate, pure looking, and need proper care and attention in order to sustain its features. The nature of a frangipani exemplifies the natural essence of a child. The flower is a symbol of a child, and the roots from which the flower grows symbolizes families, communities, schools, our culture, our religion. These roots, when strong enough, will help the child grow and develop the 5 petals. These 5 petals are symbolized by the core values of love, trust, protection, care, and respect. In order to help children grow, their roots must work together by guiding them, speaking up, and being their voices. Families and communities must spend time with their children and focus on enriching their physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Every frangipani, like a child, is unique. For each flower to bloom and for each child to flourish, it requires nurturing, care, and love. We carry the symbol of the frangipani with us to remind ourselves of the potential of every child. Child protection is all of our responsibility, not just the government's, and we must ensure that every child feels loved, protected, respected, cared for, and trusted in order for them to reach their full potential. Honorable Speaker, last month, a group called the Concerned Citizens of Fiji, led by Pastor Joe Yaya, approached me and sought for us to host the screening of the highly anticipated movie called Sound of Freedom. This film sends a very powerful call to action, Honorable Speaker, and exposes the global activity on this illegal and severe form of child sexual abuse, which includes kidnapping and transferring of children for the purpose of forced labor and exploitation, or child sex trafficking. Honorable Speaker, I accepted this proposal, and it links well with the ministry's mandated role in the care and protection of children through creating awareness. And if any member of this House has not seen this movie, I do implore you to please watch. It's based on a true story of this trafficking of children. During the screening, Honorable Speaker, on August 24th, we had invited members of Parliament, representatives from across government agencies, foreign missions, international government organizations, civil society organizations, faith-based organizations, and media partners, and also members of the public to attend, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, and the message in the movie by the main actor, Jim Caviezel, he shares at the end of the movie, he gives his own excerpt why he supports the movie and why we should create awareness on child trafficking. He said, we people, we need to be aware that even though human trafficking may not be visible in our country, it is happening. It is happening. Honorable Speaker, the line of the movie that I wish to share here in the House is that God's children are not for sale. Honorable Speaker, the ministry, in partnership with UNICEF, the University of the South Pacific, Fiji National University, and MFAT, New Zealand, is launching the Violence Against Children in Fiji report at the end of this month, the 26th of September, to which you all will be invited as members of the House, at 5 p.m. at the University of the South Pacific. Our ministry commissioned this report, Honorable Speaker, to USP and FNU to conduct this joint research, with a specific focus on children in the home setting. Honourable Speaker, as I mentioned, this month, on the 26th of September, we will be launching it. Now, despite previous efforts, Honourable Speaker, we see high numbers of violations continuing, including child rape and neglect. Levels of sexual violence are very high against teenage girl children, but do include cases down to infants under 5 years of age. And these are some of the findings in this report. The majority of perpetrators are family members. The report provides an indication of geographical hotspots by type of violation. This study represents a significant and timely step forward in the protection of children in Fiji. Such an evidence-based report provides a solid footing to set targets connected with outcomes for children, including child-friendly services and reduced rates of children in institutional care. There are clear recommendations in this report on the need for a whole-of-government, whole-of-society approach and improved coordination across our key ministries. Importantly, the report also provides material to inform focused prevention efforts, whether with parents, communities, religious leaders, or with children themselves, which going forward needs to include boys. Honourable Speaker, lastly, on the 19th of November, the Ministry will be commemorating the International Day for Prevention of Child Abuse and Neglect. And the theme for this year is every child is one caring adult away from being a success story. It starts with us. The theme emphasizes the importance of fulfilling our responsibility as a parent or guardian. This is also extended to our communities, our places of worship, and any public spaces in which a child is in. No matter what your role, child protection is everyone's responsibility. Honourable Speaker, child abuse in all its forms exists in Fiji, and we have heard the recent statistics and trends, very worrying trend, and we as a ministry will continue to work with our stakeholders to increase awareness on child abuse and neglect. To this end, Honourable Speaker, I would like to begin with our esteemed colleagues in this House. And hopefully in time to come, we'll organize with Parliament to have an informational session on this very topic to raise the awareness on child welfare issues, including the relevant laws and international laws, which the government have ratified to address child abuse and strengthen the rights of a child. We believe as members of Parliament, we are the potent figures. We are the public figures in our communities, and we can play a vital role in supporting the ministry through being champions for children, or child advocates. And once again, I thank you for donning the pin, the frangipani pin, to raise awareness about caring for our children. I will conclude to remind us again of the theme this year, Honourable Speaker. Every child is one caring adult away from being a success story. It starts with us. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.